Welcome back to my channel, KT Beyond the Book, and here we are. We are going through the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible, right? Written by James Strong's. And so this is a 2001 edition. I'm going to look up 3 words today. We're going to go through this together and kind of see how things are done. So the first word I wanted to look up was created. This portion of the book acts as a dictionary, right? So you're going to look things up just like you would in a dictionary. In this case, we're looking up created. In the beginning, God created, right? So here is created, and that will be in bold print. It shows 45 times, and it shows as create as well, right? So we can look here. Here's create, and these are the different variations of how you will find this word. Now here is GE, which of course simply stands for Genesis. In our previous video, we talked about how these abbreviations are located in the front of the book. So if you get a little confused what they're talking about, just go there and they'll show you which book it's in. So this particular word is Genesis 1:1, and here's a snippet or a portion of that scripture. It says, in the beginning, God, and then you have a bold-faced C, right? And so you just have, in the beginning, God, see the heaven, and they're just going to take a portion of that scripture, and then the word you're looking up is going to be bolded, and you're only going to get the first letter of that word. But that's how you know that's what you're looking for. And then, of course, here we have 1254. Again, remember we talked about that in our previous video, that you're not going to get a G or H. You're not going to know here if it's in Greek or Hebrew simply by looking at this reference. You're going to know it's Hebrew because it's in the Old Testament. You're going to know it's Greek because it's in the New Testament. Okay? It's Genesis. We know that's Old Testament. Therefore, this 1254 is going to be in the Hebrew. So we're going to go ahead and look that up. I do want to show you, this here is the Hebrew Aramaic Dictionary index to the Old Testament. That's the part we need, so we know all of these words are going to be H words because they are in the Old Testament. Now we are looking for 1254, which was what our reference number was. 12. Now, of course, I do want to warn you that these are very, very small print book, very small print book, but we're not going to let that stop us, no. Okay, so here's our word created. Here's the word. This is created, written in Hebrew. And then this is how it's spelled in English. It also shows you here the word where this word came from, 1256. So you can also reference 1256 to get just a little bit more context to it. And of course, here's 1256 if you just want a little bit more reference and context to it. So here we find that all these words after this arrow here are numbers you can go to get more context on this word. Okay, so it means to come, it means to create, creator. It means to be created, can reference to creating from nothing, as well as reforming existing materials, as in creating me a pure. So again, here's a reference number, 1256. We can go to 1256, and more specifically, it is saying Yahweh has created. So it's not just anybody created this out of nothing, and anybody created this from something and then changed it. But here it's giving you Yahweh has created. So again, if you look up all these words after this arrow, then you will find more information about what that means. Here is detained. Yes, this is why I wanted to show you, because This is a rare thing, but this word detained only shows one time. It also can mean the word detain without the ed. Okay, so remember that word in parentheses is showing you that that's another variation of how that word might show up. Detain, detained with the ed is only listed one time, and here's where it's listed: 1 Samuel 21:7. And then it says, was there that day detained before the Lord. Okay, so that scripture reference is giving you that portion of scripture. D is, what do you call that word? Bold faced. D is bold, and what D is telling you is you're looking up the word detained. Again, here is your reference number that you're going to look up in the back of the book. And remember, if it's in the Old Testament, it's in Hebrew. So we're going to look under H6113 or Hebrew 6113. Here we go. We found it. 6113. This is how it's spelled in Hebrew. This is how it's written in English. And after this arrow here, these are the other words that you can look up that correlate with this word. This word was detained with the ed. It means to retain, hold back, remain, to be enslaved, be constrained, to be stopped, be detained, right? It shows up 15 times as shut up in the scriptures. It shows up stayed as 7 times. It shows up detained with no ed 2 times. It shows up fast, closed up in the scriptures twice. It shows up retained 2 times. Okay, so that's what they're showing you as you read through this portion. And then finally, our last word is devour. Can you see that? Alrighty. Here we have devour. And of course, this is your list of other words, how it will show up. We are going to go to the New Testament. Amos, Obadiah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zechariah. MT starts the New Testament with Matthew, right? Matthew, Mark, Luke. So MT starts the New Testament. And this portion of scripture, remember we talked about that shade, when they show you a shaded reference, that's for some Bibles, some KJV Bibles, that the words of Jesus are written in red, so they've shaded that portion for you, so you know that that is in red writing, which means Jesus said it. Okay, so in this portion it says, for ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense. And so that word is 2719. But we're not looking up that particular word. We are going to look up 1 Peter 5:8 says, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. That is 2666, which is totally different from 2719, right? That's really what I wanted to show you. They're both in the New Testament, but these 2 words mean different things, which again is why it's important to study your Strongs. It's important to know that once you're reading something, because Jesus is saying, for you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense. Okay, that's a different word than where Satan walks about seeking whom he may devour. 2 different words. So we're going to look up 2666 in, of course, what? The Greek. Seems we have found it. 2666. We are in the Greek dictionary. Remember, if you're looking up something, all of a sudden it just does not make sense. Make sure you're in the right portion of the Hebrew or the Greek to make it make sense. So I appreciate you guys coming and studying with me the Strongest Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible by James Strong. Okay, you guys have been a great audience. I appreciate you. Don't forget to share like, and subscribe. And if you guys want more of these types of videos, or if you have a reference tool that you're trying to learn how to handle and what you need to do with it, please drop it in the comment line. Let me know. We can go over it together, and then that way we can all be built up in the unity of the faith. I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.